Hey, what's up, everybody? It's KBR Sports, the best sports talk show of your 24-hour day. I'm your host, Brendan Abbott, my two co-hosts, Rashad Pinnell to my left, Kyler Lewis to my right. Coming to you on WODU Studios, the best in college radio. Um, how are y'all doing this morning? Everybody doing good?
Horrible,
You said horrible.
horrible,
Oh, why horrible?
because of this headache.
Bro, you legit sound miserable. the way you
Uh,
the way you just started out is horrible.
I
Just horrible. How about you, Rashad? How
need
you
to
feeling?
cough.
Man, dude's a little tired, the 6 to 10, getting to me a little bit now. But I'm here and I'm ready to get into this sports talk.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all?
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, we got a good good amount of things for y'all to tune in for us to talk about today. Starting off, man, Golden State Warriors. It just seems like they're here, and everybody else is just down here. It just doesn't even make sense at this point. It's just, we'll get into them. We'll get into them. They're the A block. We'll get into those guys. Then you got Cam Newton himself. We talked about a little bit about it last show, but we never fully got to fully broach the topic because we had to go because we ran out of time. So we'll be revisiting that topic. And then we'll also be talking about, the man who played last night against Oklahoma City Thunder, Kristaps Porzingis. And, I think he was compared to a mystical creature of some kind. So, we'll address that a little bit. And then we'll also get into Ben Simmons, the guy that everybody's talking about. He's the, without a doubt, number one pick in the draft. But we're going to ask the question, is he really the best player in college basketball? Raising some eyebrows, asking some, scratching some heads. We'll get into that also. But starting off with, the Golden State Warriors. At this point, you just don't even know what to say because they honestly do just seem like they're better than everybody else. They gave a 30-point thrashing to the Spurs the other night, and this is the team that everybody was talking about. This is the best game of the regular season, the game that everybody had to look forward to coming in, coming into this weekend, and then the Golden State Warriors just end up just destroying the Spurs. You thought, granted the Spurs did rest Tim Duncan, but this was one of those games that you sat there and you thought, man, you don't know how much help Tim Duncan would have been. It was honestly that that dominant of a performance that they put on that you sat there and you were wondering who can what team what person is gonna come and like just put an end to all this nonsense. Like I see people on Twitter tweeting about how people are letting a guy that sings about Frozen and stuff all the time do this to them. Like he will be at home mouthing Frozen songs with his wife and children. And then, he comes on the court and he's the babyface assassin and nobody can stop him. And I was watching Mike and Mike this morning and they were reporting and they were talking about how Steph Curry is 77 threes away from breaking his own 3-point record for the amount of threes made in a season. And you look at that and you're like, man, we're not even in February yet. And he's only 77 threes away. He started off the season 51st in three-pointers made. This man is now at 26th. And you just look at all those things. And the next person behind him in the three-point category this season is 77 threes behind him. And that's his running mate, Klay Thompson. And you're sitting there, you're like, whoa, how did Golden State could not have seen this in the future, this when they were molding this. Like Jerry West was, he's part of the, management for the Warriors. And you just wonder, like, did he see this shooting backcourt coming to fruition when he drafted both these guys? Because, the shooting ability of this team, what they do on offense, they're number one in almost every offensive category. And defensive efficiency, they're number 3. In offensive efficiency, they're number 1. The Spurs are number 1 in defensive efficiency. And yet this was the worst. The Warriors broke 100 on the Spurs, which is like the first time a team has done it to the Spurs this season, essentially. And you look at the fact that the Spurs and all their losses this season, their losses combined were equivalent to 33 points, and that's how much the Warriors beat them by. So you look at that level of dominance, and you're just like, man, what team will be the team to slow down Golden State and to inevitably, just not even this, because they've lost this season. It's not even the fact about them losing. It's just what team can you see being the team that if they played them in the playoffs would actually beat them in the East or in the West. Guys, give me your take on it. How do you guys think at fully healthy? Because essentially, for most of their losses, Golden State wasn't fully healthy. So, as a fully healthy Golden State team, do you guys think anybody can beat them? Rashad, let me hear your take first. What do you think?
Now, before you get my take, when you say this beatable team, do you mean 7-game series beat, or when this team is healthy, who can stop them and win a game? Which one? Because like you said,
elaborate on both. Just elaborate on both.
All right, so of course, any team is beatable even when healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'll go with there. Now, as far as a 7-game series, when this team's fully healthy, that's a different story here. That's you're talking about stopping this man Steph, stopping this man Klay Thompson, Andre Iguodala, who's playing exceptionally well right now. All the whole cast playing them fully healthy and trying to win 7-game series is not going to happen. The best team to give them probably the matchup who can match their speed and tempo will be Oklahoma City. But then again, that team has to be healthy as well. And as we see, Westbrook and Durant hasn't really fully been healthy for a while, for at least the whole 82 game season. So we got to make sure coming late down the stretch, that team's in a good position where they won't get stuck with a bad matchup before they play Golden State. Because you can easily run against like a team like the Spurs, where that team's more slow pace, where it can just pick that Oklahoma City team apart. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You got to make sure you have the matchup to eventually make it to the Warriors with your health still there, with your legs under you, to actually give that team a run, not even beat them, to give them a run. It should right now be a unanimous decision who's the NBA champion this year.
And the crazy thing is, people won't say it.
Yeah, I don't want to. Like, it's kind of how, like, when LeBron first came in the league, everybody was like, "Yo, we're not giving this man his credit. We're never gonna give this man his credit." That's kind of how this is. They're like, "No, we're not gonna give this team his credit. There's just a shooting team that's getting lucky, hitting all the shots. You can't get lucky 60-something games in a row now."
Can I say something that you said? There's 3 players on this team shooting over 40% from 3.
That's crazy.
Klay Thompson shooting 42%. Draymond Green is shooting 40.3%. Stephen Curry shooting 45%.
That's not lucky.
That's not lucky. You
gotta stop saying, well, this team's gonna lose when they stop hitting their threes.
Exactly.
Well, when are they gonna stop hitting?
Yeah.
When are they gonna stop
They're
hitting?
meeting at least half of their free throws. Well, less than half of their free throws.
Yeah.
Free throws, 3-pointers.
That's what I'm saying. So what you got, Khalid?
Yeah, go on. Go give your perspective, Khalid.
Bruh, this team, I don't know. This team looking too good. They looking way too good. I had faith in the Spurs. I thought they was gonna be the team, like, really, like, take them down. But 33 points. Whew.
Yeah,
like, that's bad. I didn't expect the Spurs to get blown out like that.
Yeah, man.
And I'm really questioning the thing myself. Can they be beaten? I mean, full strength, 7-game series. I don't think they can either.
See, here's the thing for me with Golden State, because I'm looking at Steph Curry's numbers by himself. The dude's averaging 30, shooting 51%. Now, mind you, this is a perimeter player. He's a 6'3" point guard, shooting 51%. He's shooting 91% from the free throw line. So you foul him, you're just giving up points. There's no point. You're just giving up points regardless. Yeah, you know what I mean? You just add in team fouls. No point in fouling the kid. Like, he's unguardable. And then you go to Klay. Klay's averaging 20 points on 45% shooting, 42% shooting from 3-point line. He's shooting 82% from the free throw line. You just sit there, and then you just don't know what to do anymore. Draymond Green averages 14 and 6 assists. He's shooting 40% from the three. You just don't know what to do. Like, I look at every offensive category. Number 1 in points, number 2 in field goal percentage to the San Antonio Spurs. They're number 1 in offensive efficiency. Then defensive efficiency, you're 3rd. And then you look at the Spurs. The Spurs are relatively right there with them in every stat. But then you see them play each other, and it was like the Spurs didn't even – the defensive player of the year, Kawhi Leonard, looked like a chump against Steph Curry. Like, Steph Curry shook him without the ball. How he shook him without the ball? I don't get it. Like, I saw Kawhi Leonard fall without the basketball. I was confused. I was like, whoa, that is real. That's when you know you're not, like,
he had that man shook, dog.
You know what I mean? Like, anybody wants to go see it, just go look up the Steph Curry, because Steph Curry and Kyrie both shook their own respective. Like, Kyrie shook Tayshaun Prince the same night.
Kyrie's prettier though.
You said Kyrie's?
I continue on. I think it was pretty much continue on.
That sounds kind of bad.
Yeah, because Kyrie did do it with the ball, but Steph shook. But it's the defensive player of the year. You know what I mean? It's Kawhi Leonard, and he shook him without the basketball. Then gets the basketball, makes Kawhi. You know what I'm saying? Makes him jump. Then takes a step back and shoots a three. Like this is ridiculous.
They having too much fun against the people they play.
But here's the thing: does it get to a point where a team is so good that you just get bored with the season? Like no,
the team or us?
No, like us. Like you know what I'm saying? No, because I'm not talking about watching them, but isn't it get to a point where they're so good
that you know that anybody that plays them gonna lose?
You know what I'm saying? Like you start watching, you're just like, so who's gonna you know what I mean? Like they're so good
because now you're like.
It's like who's gonna beat them?
You're like, I want to see who's gonna beat them.
But see, here's the thing. But then when we see the matches and we see everybody was so hyped for the San Antonio Spurs game, it would have been different. The Spurs lost by 5. They got destroyed. I know Tim Duncan didn't play, but 33 points. I don't think Tim Duncan changes 33 points. I mean, maybe the way your team plays defense, the way he guards the rim changes things. You know, Tim Duncan, I mean, he's a key asset to the Spurs. But they weren't missing threes as it was. You know, Steph Curry finished the game with 37 points. He didn't even play in the fourth quarter. That just goes to say crazy. How, you know, I mean,
against the Spurs, he didn't play.
He didn't play in the fourth quarter. So that just goes to show how I just can't be stopped. But here's the thing for me, because we wait for that's what I'm talking about with the season getting boring, because we got up for everybody was making this game so great, just like they were making the Cavs game against them such a big deal. Talking about, oh well, you know, they want revenge for the loss the Warriors handed to them earlier in the season. But then you look at it and you're like, man, the Warriors really gave these guys a thrashing. All these teams. So then you sit there and you're like, okay, our last hope is Oklahoma City. That's like our last, just like Rashad said, no, really, you think about it, our last hope is Oklahoma City, because Oklahoma City, and I've heard Stephen A. Smith reiterate numerous times how he can't wait. And the game against Oklahoma City will be on February 13th, I believe, the day before Valentine's Day. I think it's the day before Valentine's Day, or no, the week actually before Valentine's Day. It'll be the week before Valentine's Day. But they play them that weekend, because the Valentine's Day weekend is All-Star weekend actually. So they play them that day. They play them the week before Valentine's Day, and everybody's like, I've seen Stephen A. Smith say numerous times that of all the players in the league that have that competitive drive, he can't see Russell Westbrook sitting idly by and letting Steph Curry jigaboo all over the Oklahoma City Thunder the way he's done on every other team. And Russell Westbrook, he says Russell Westbrook has that competitive fervor that he will not allow Steph Curry to be the boy that's sitting out in the fourth quarter. He said he won't let it happen. And to Rashad's point, it makes sense, because Oklahoma City kind of is similar to Golden State with how they play on the perimeter, whereas you have a San Antonio and Cleveland to a lesser degree that, you know, plays on the post up kind of thing. Like they post up, like San Antonio posts up LaMarcus Aldridge, they post up Tim Duncan, and then your perimeter players are Kawhi Leonard and Tony Parker and Danny Green, respectively, if he starts. And then whereas Oklahoma City, your perimeter players would consist of Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, Anthony Moore, or Andre Roberson, whoever starts, or Oscar Roberson. And then you have Serge Ibaka, and then Steven Adams or Enes Kanter, whichever one starts. Last night, Steven Adams started, but whichever one starts, respectively, out of those two. And you have those guys out on the perimeter. And Oklahoma City is that one team that can go small to match up with Golden State, because they have that lineup where they put Serge Ibaka at the 5, and Serge Ibaka has the ability to hit outside shots. So it also forces the Golden State Warrior bigs have to move out on the perimeter. So that opens up the lane for Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant. And go ahead.
I'm not even cut you off there, but when you say that too, when you think about who the big is, though, when they go small, it's Draymond Green.
It is.
He already spreads out the floor anyway. So I mean, I don't know how much of that affect.
But here's the thing: he does spread out the floor anyways. But the only thing for me is, with Draymond Green being the big, most times when Draymond Green's the big, the only reason why it works for them is because no other team has a big that they can go small with that can also still defend. Like when Cleveland would go small, Kevin Love can't protect the basket whatsoever. Yeah. And Kevin Love has no lateral quickness on defense. So that's what kills them. When you go look at the Spurs don't really have a small lineup that I can think of. I mean, unless you put LaMarcus Aldridge at the 5 or something like that, but then he's not a rim protector all too well himself. So, you know, when excuse me, my throat. But what's it called? What was I saying? with the Oklahoma City Thunder, you put Serge Ibaka at the 5, you put Kevin Durant at the 4, you put Anthony Morrow or whoever you want at, you put Deion Waiters at the 2, maybe you put Anthony Morrow at the 3. You have all shooters just around Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant. So that forces Golden State to have to guard the 3-point line, and all those guys that I just listed all can make plays. Anthony Morrow is a respective 3-point shooter, but I mean he could put the ball on the floor and make make the defense collapse. But I mean, there's not a coincidence that the Golden State is number 3 in defensive efficiency. But just that's just like the reason why I can understand what Oklahoma City, because I mean that's how it normally has been throughout the past few years. It all depends on your matchup. It's like when the Spurs normally would go up against Oklahoma City, it wasn't a good matchup because of the athleticism of Oklahoma City. And then in the last time they faced off against each other, Serge Ibaka was hurt for the first 2 games where the Spurs went up 2-0. Serge Ibaka comes back. Oklahoma City wins 2 games, and the Spurs win 2 more games and finish the series. But then but granted, the last time the Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Spurs was when James Harden was there, but that was with a less experienced Russell Westbrook and a less experienced Kevin Durant also, even though Kevin Durant was still a bad boy. So was Russell Westbrook. But you look at those things and you're like, man, it does also come down to matchups. And I mean, most people always just kind of give the Spurs that credit because they always feel like Greg Popovich will come up with a way to, fix to be able to defend these guys, be able to defend these favorite players. And we all thought the solution was Kawhi Leonard until this man got shook without the. I just can't fathom he got shook without the basketball. That's exactly what it is. They play a way faster tempo than everybody else. The only finish. The only team that plays at that tempo is Oklahoma City. It's the only team really. And then now Cleveland's trying to up their tempo, and Tyronn Lue's talking about how they're not conditioned enough to do so. But what were you going to say, Rashad?
So let's go back to the Spurs game. So the Spurs was down by 7 in the first quarter with 9 turnovers. If those turnovers didn't happen, how do you see that game actually? Do you still see that game shaping out 33 or all momentum like it was gone like from grip? Or do you see it a little closer to game if those 9 turnovers wasn't there? Because I mean those turnovers were like, here you go.
They were bad turnovers. But in the same respect, Golden State started playing sloppy at one point also. So I do understand what you're saying. Like without the sloppy play of the Spurs, because I mean the Spurs aren't going to play that sloppy every time. Yeah. But I still think they would have got whooped. Just how that game was going. For 133, it's going to be 20. Exactly. the way that the Golden State Warriors were playing them, it was like for those who didn't watch it, I'm trying to get y'all to understand how it felt watching it. Like I was watching that game and I felt hopeless. It's not like I want Golden State to lose or nothing like that. I wanted to see a great game, but you're watching and when a team is overmatched, and the Spurs look completely overmatched. Like this man Steph Curry came off a pick and roll. Kawhi Leonard was right on his back. This man pulls up anyway. And just pulls up and sinks it.
You want to know how you know it's a good game? That's crazy. It's when you're in our room and you hear Malcolm in the other room, this man ain't human. That's how you know it's a good game. That's how you know you need to turn it on and see every 30 seconds, this man ain't human. You know what I'm saying? This man just hitting something crazy, doing something crazy.
It's like he has all the game sliders up. Like, honestly, he has all in 2K.
Overall is 100.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
100 overall.
No, really though. Anybody who has 2K, go look at Steph Curry's offensive stats. Every offensive stat is over 90. Every single one. Like Steph Curry's is unreal.
That's how LeBron was.
It isn't
2 years ago on 2K.
Hey man, that's. His shooting stats ain't like that. But
that's kind of like the Devin Hester thing on Madden when he was 100 speed for the first time.
It was wrong.
Next season after that, the dude was like 95. And it was like, nah.
Because he was an unfair player, bro. It was unfair with Devin Hester. Everybody just put my wide receiver and just have him run a go. That's all everybody used to do.
That's like LeBron. Nope. Steph Curry.
96
overall. Give me the Devin Hester stats.
Yeah, but guys, moving on to the next topic. So we were talking about this actually on Monday. And we're talking about who everybody thinks is the best quarterback. And we're asking the question, is Cam Newton the best quarterback? And we never really got to finish the topic because we ran out of time. But it was getting, we were actually getting into it, and then we had to go. But, we're going to revisit the topic. So, guys, do you guys really think Cam Newton is the best quarterback in football right now? I mean, the man has had a great season, got his team to the Super Bowl. But if we're looking at as far as regular season, I mean, he's had 46 total touchdowns as we look at it. And, like I said earlier, on Monday, his completion percentage was 59.8%, and he's thrown for 3,900 or so yards. So, do you guys really believe he's the best quarterback in football as it is right now? Colin, let me hear your perspective. What do you think?
What I say last time, I was like, right now, he's looking like
your position changed?
Yeah.
No.
I will change it to
No, I didn't even finish.
All right, go ahead. Go. Sorry.
Jesus.
We did jump on you.
I know,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
I didn't even
Go ahead.
finish. I was just like last time that he was the best.
It just made me laugh because you're like, what did I say last time? And I thought you were gonna change what you. Okay,
Nah,
go ahead.
And I do think that he is the best right now, just because he has a more versatile game. Although Tom Brady don't throw as many, throw less interceptions than he does, and he's efficient in the fourth quarter. Cam Newton can give you those couple yards that you need to get that first down with the run, or he can get you that touchdown that maybe the the running game is lacking. And I do think that he has enough protection in the pocket to get accurate throws off. Like the way I was seeing against the Cardinals, the man had so much time in the pocket, and he just threw some great passes until that one interception pass. And I already told y'all what happened after that. But yeah, I think the Cam Newton right now is at the top of his game, and he's playing a game. He's playing like an elite quarterback. He's an elite quarterback right now, and I do think that he can be considered the best right now.
Okay, Rashad. What do you think?
It's Cam Newton. And see, I'm gonna tell you why it's Cam Newton. Because Cam Newton don't have the weapons that like a Tom Brady have, something like that. Because right now, it seems like the debate is between Tom Brady and Cam Newton. There should be no reason. I mean, yeah, Gronk do it too. But there should be no reason Greg Olsen is in top 5 receiving yards at a tight end position. Coming from Cam Newton. That's all he has. He made Greg Olsen look like the Jason Witten of old. That's exactly what he did. Now the conversation is Jason Witten, Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates, Greg Olsen, according to the season. So let me see. So you have that here. See, you got to put some enthusiasm in your talk. Got to get some enthusiasm in it. Cam Newton's doing this with no weapons. He has a run game, yes. Tom Brady has no run game. We all know that. Mm-hmm. Tom Brady makes up for his passing game. Tom Brady ain't got no line. When Tom Brady gets pressure, he breaks down. Clearly seen like this past weekend. So Cam Newton doesn't break down. He makes all plays with his feet. No quarterback makes plays with his feet like Cam Newton do. Russell Wilson, he gets a little scrambling on. Yeah, you see, look at it. Russell Wilson gets a little scrambling on, but it ain't no Cam Newton scramble.
Okay.
Cam Newton's a linebacker back there playing quarterback. So nobody's getting his way. Nobody's getting his way. Like when they see him running, they like, oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's a running back.
Exactly. A bigger running back.
Yeah.
That can throw.
He's an accurate quarterback this season. This is this season now. He's an accurate quarterback this season. He's running like a running back this season. He has no weapons, like talking about. I want to say Corey Brown's weapon. Go ahead. No, I'm not gonna say that. He ain't no Julian Edelman. Greg Olsen still ain't no Gronk, but he's up there with him right now. 2 best tight ends in the league right now. I mean, he has a good defense that actually gives him some good field position to actually make more touchdowns and stuff like that we see. Kind of scales it off a little bit. But he's still playing the best ball as a quarterback right now this season. Got the team 15-1, best record in the NFL. Why is he not the best quarterback? If you don't win MVP, I'm not watching the NFL no more.
Just quit the NFL. Oh Lord.
So let me address both of y'all points. So y'all want to talk about weapons and running and scrambling and hit and all this other things. Let me tell y'all a little something about my man in Seattle, Russell Wilson. I'm a Rams fan, granted you, and we're in the same division. So I see this man Russell Wilson 2 times in the year. For all those who were not listening the other day for the stats I gave out on these 2 quarterbacks, Russell Wilson falls for 4,024 passing yards, due for 34 touchdowns, only threw 8 interceptions, had a passer rating of 110, and ran for 553 yards and ran for 1 touchdown. Cam Newton, on the other hand, threw for 3,837 yards, 35 touchdowns to 10 interceptions, completion percentage of 59.8, passer rating of 99.4, and 10 rushing touchdowns to 636 passing yards, or 636 rushing yards, excuse me. And also, Russell Wilson has a completion percentage of 68.1. And we want to talk about bad O-lines. Russell Wilson's O-line, since they traded away, it was Max Unger, I believe. to get Jimmy Graham, when they traded him away, and Russell Okung went down also, their offensive line has been abysmal. So Russell Wilson has made this all happen granted, his team, the Seahawks, were 10-6 this season. Russell Wilson made all this happen with Jermaine Kearse and Doug Baldwin as his primary targets. And we're talking about Cam has no targets to throw to. The man did have Greg Olsen, who's been everybody's known has been a great tight end throughout his tenure wherever he's played. And then he also has Ted Ginn Jr., who came on. Everybody knows Ted Ginn Jr. has been a speedster his whole career. Ted Ginn Jr., although at times would drop passes, he still takes the lid off the top of a defense. Now on Seattle's front, who do they have that does that? Relatively nobody.
Lockett does it. Lockett be going deep all the time. He get open.
Tyler
Lockett get open for no reason.
Tyler Lockett isn't their deep threat though. He doesn't know me. He normally isn't their deep threat for whatever reason.
Oh,
You got a caller. You got a caller. Go ahead, caller.
Caller.
You hit the button. Yeah.
I think you're.
Oh, did I turn the
Hello,
PF?
caller. Caller, can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Are you there?
Fellas, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on with all three of you this morning?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm good.
All right. Hey, I just want to call and chime in on you guys' debate about who can beat the Golden State Warriors.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Who do you have that could inevitably give Golden State a run for their money?
Golden State with a 7-game series on the line. You give them a healthy team, San Antonio Spurs would most definitely take Golden State out.
So what makes you think the San Antonio Spurs can take them out when clearly this team was pretty much healthy this game without Tim Duncan? Only missing piece.
You're talking about, okay, they rested Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan is a major asset to the San Antonio Spurs. You take him out of the lineup, that takes a lot away from the game. I understand they lost by 33 points, but we're talking about when San Antonio Spurs are rested, which Pop will make sure they're rested when the playoff time gets here. He's going to have arrested Tim Duncan. He's going to have arrested Tony Parker. Patty Mills going to get the same time, his playing time. But you're going to have arrested Tony Parker, arrested Tim Duncan. Aldridge going to be clicking on the cylinders. You'll have Leonard. Nobody can beat those guys when they're well rested and healthy.
So how do you stop when they go small ball? Because the lineup you just said, you have both LaMarcus Aldridge and Tim Duncan in there, both who cannot actually run with the Warriors, which seems that's their go-to plan right now is to go small ball to win games.
But you have to understand that you have the best coach in the league right now, which is Pop. Pop will come up with a plan to stop that small ball. Yeah, you will have Mills and Parker in at the same time. And at the same time, you can have Leonard. You can take Tim Duncan out. You can take Tim Duncan out when he starts running that small ball. But guess what? You still have West. West still has a lot of legs up underneath him. So therefore, I don't think Golden State can beat the Spurs in a 7-game series.
But the question I have for you is David West a good enough rim protector to protect against whenever Golden State goes small? What they normally take advantage of from the other team is that they take advantage of the team's lack of rim protection, because no one can stop Golden State whenever they go small, because everybody has to take their bigs out because no big is comfortable with guarding a Draymond Green or Harrison Barnes or so on the perimeter. So whenever Golden State goes small, they force the other team's bigs to have to guard them on the perimeter. So even if you put David West in there, he's going to have to guard a Draymond Green who shoots 40% from the three-point line. So David West won't be.
And that's where Aldridge come in. Aldridge didn't want to play that center position. Aldridge didn't want to play that forward position. He's going to have Draymond. We're going to keep West in the middle. He can easily handle the middle. And we're going to put Parker on Klay Thompson, and you got Mills, and plus you got Diaw. Diaw still has a lot of legs underneath him. So when they start going that small ball, the Spurs have enough people to match up against those smaller players they have on the team.
So you're having like a Boris Diaw or somebody like an Andre Iguodala on the wing who can take him off the dribble. Yes, Boris Diaw is a perimeter defender or a strong. I'm gonna say a strong defender. I'm gonna say a strong perimeter defender. He's a strong defender, but to constantly run up and down the floor with that team and then still guard like an Andre Iguodala who's aggressive to the basket.
when you have the defense that the Spurs can put on you, because like I said, they're fundamental, a fundamental team. You know, they're sticking to the basic fundamentals of the game of basketball. And when Pop started just playing that and inputting that in their game system, and they're slowing down these three-point shooters, like you say, you live by the three, you die by the three. Eventually, Golden State going to die by that three.
Why can't they slow down?
Just like we talk about Duke year after year. Duke has always lived by the three. When Duke lived by the three, they die by the three as well.
But here's the only thing about Duke. They don't got Stephen Curry.
Exactly.
They don't got Stephen Curry. That's the only thing.
Stephen Curry can shoot almost anywhere from the court and make it.
Stephen Curry is one guy. One guy. And you slow that one guy down. Slow that one guy down. Klay Thompson, yeah, he's at 40-some% three.
Draymond Green, too.
But how many threes is he shooting per game, though?
Klay Thompson?
Yes.
I got that for you
And
right
how many threes is Draymond Green shooting per game?
Klay Thompson shoots 7 threes a game.
Okay, so 7 threes per game. And I can hit 3 of those, and that's going to put me at 40-some%?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so 7 threes. We're talking about Steph now. Steph is shooting around about 13 threes per game, 13, 14 per game.
He shoots 10
It's
threes.
not more than that.
Yeah, he shoots 10. He actually shoots 10 threes a game. He makes 4.9 of them.
Exactly. So if you shut down Steph Curry and you put a little defense on Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, all those threes are gone.
I can't say that. I don't know if all the threes are gone.
Not all of the threes, but majority of the threes are
Yeah.
gone. Majority of the threes are gone. And that's the ball that San Antonio is going to play against the Warriors. Yeah, granted, we can't sit back and say, yeah, they lost by 33 points the other night. It's not playoff time. The Spurs are a completely different team.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true. But the only thing for me is the Spurs are an entirely different team playoff time, but that's the same team that got knocked out by the Clippers last season. Even though now you add LaMarcus Aldridge, that's the same team that just got knocked out by the Clippers in the first round last year off a Chris Paul game winner in Game 7. So
okay, and we're talking about a totally different team, the Clippers and the Warriors. 2 different teams.
But that's the thing, and the Warriors are a better team than the Clippers are right now.
The thing that beat the Spurs last year, yeah, they had a game winning shot by Chris Paul, but they lost in the middle. They don't have that power this year in the middle. Tim Duncan was tired. He cannot control the middle all by himself. They lost in the middle. All right, so with Tim Duncan being rested when playoff time get here, and you have Aldridge well rested, we won't have to worry about them facing the Clippers. If they do face the Clippers, they'll beat them soundly, probably in 5 games. And that's why Pop will have his defense ready to play that small ball and beat the Warriors.
Well, that's something that we'll have to wait to see because they have 3 more meetings throughout the rest of the season. That's the time they play is actually March 19th. So that'll actually be the next time we get to see the Spurs in action against the Warriors at the Spurs home court. So, and
I guarantee you will see a totally different team come March.
Okay, I have one question before we have to let you go because we have to keep going off the show with the rest of our topics. But I have one question for you. Do you believe the Warriors or the Spurs or the Oklahoma City Thunder would be a better match for the Warriors? Or which out of those 2 teams?
I would say the Spurs.
You say the Spurs, okay. Well,
Spurs would be a better matchup. Granted, Oklahoma has the speed to match up with them, but they don't have the experience.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you calling in, caller. We thank you for your support on the show, and hopefully we can have you on again sometime soon.
All right, you fellas be good.
All right, thank you. Okay. Well, we appreciate anybody that always wants to call in to talk on the show. We appreciate the call, just like you heard the caller that just called in. Anybody can call in and join in on our sports debates at any time if y'all want to. Where I was currently going with the Russell Wilson and Cam Newton debate was, well, if we're talking about the lack of receivers, well, and you also want to bring in Tom Brady, where you could talk about with Tom Brady, where Tom Brady does have receivers, yes. I mean, Julian Edelman and Danny Amendola and Rob Gronkowski especially. The problem is what you notice from Tom Brady, he's never had, since Randy Moss, Tom Brady's never had an outside the numbers guy that takes the lid off your defense. Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola, all those guys are quick inside guys that they all their bread and butter is yards after the catch because they're so quick. But if you think about it, he's never had a guy that can will blow past everybody and goes over everybody and makes a catch. And you want to talk about lack of receivers? Aaron Rodgers had relatively no receivers. We can't even name a tight end that Aaron Rodgers had.
But at the same time, you can't sit here and say the Carolina Panthers had decent receivers, because there's a reason Ted Ginn goes from place to place, because he can't. Yeah, he has speed. Yeah, there's a lot of receivers who have speed but can't do nothing with it. Devin Hester, for prime example. Torrey Smith took him a long time to develop that. He has the speed, but he doesn't have the moves to beat the defender to give him the space. He can just outrun everybody every play.
But there's a reason why now he's productive in Carolina.
He's productive on shorter catches and catching up.
But he's still productive in Carolina. He
wasn't unproductive in other places either, though. He just wasn't as productive as he was
in Arizona. He wasn't productive.
I didn't even know he was there. That's how you're relevant.
Cam Newton has helped him elevate himself as a player, but that goes hand in hand. I mean, when Brett Favre came to the Vikings, we never heard of Sidney Rice. Sidney Rice becomes a big receiver the minute he plays with Brett Favre. As a lot of these guys, Danny Amendola was a good receiver in St. Louis. Comes to New England, he's a dangerous weapon now. There's so many of these players that you look at, and I'm not. To me, I think the best overall quarterback in football is either it has to be Aaron Rodgers to me, because even though Aaron Rodgers, we say this man had a down season. I think he threw 36 touchdowns and 10 interceptions.
Right, Aaron Rodgers. The thing about Aaron Rodgers, this man is so efficient with nobody.
He threw 31 touchdowns.
You can't sit here and say nobody, because at the same time, they're NFL receivers who made it to the game off the play.
That's true, but
yes, they're not better than some of these other players that we see. But at the same time, for both teams, you can't. I can't take it from Ted Ginn, but Ted Ginn, like we said, we've seen
Cam Newton doesn't have weapons then.
I said he doesn't have weapons. Like I can't say he has better weapons than
he does have better weapons than Aaron Rodgers.
No, he does.
Than Aaron Rodgers, yes.
Tom Brady,
is the best quarterback.
He's not the best quarterback.
Aaron Rodgers can scramble.
He doesn't scramble.
You gotta think about it too.
No, Aaron Rodgers doesn't scramble.
No,
but here's the difference. Aaron Rodgers can scramble. He has the ability to run, but they're not calling run design plays like they do for Cam Newton and Russell Wilson.
But that's like those run plays come at the goal line more so in the red zone.
Bro, you don't get 636 rushing yards from the goal line. No.
But I always makes with his feet himself, not just.
No, they call runs for him. They call runs for Cam Newton. You don't see where they do those little draw plays or the little reverses.
When read option. Look like another caller. I hope they're gonna teach you some knowledge.
Wait, give me some knowledge. What do you mean? Oh my goodness. Make sure the PFL ain't on. Oh my.
Caller, can you hear us?
Sure can.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
That's good to hear. I was trying to address the best quarterback situation.
Uh-huh.
All right, so Cam Newton, he's a bad man. I'll give him his credit. He had an amazing season. But there's a lot of disrespect being thrown to a lot of people from y'all.
What do you mean?
The best quarterback is Tom Brady. I don't even like Tom Brady, but he has earned my respect. Tom Brady threw for 4,770 yards with a patchwork offensive line and no wide receivers. You can use the defense that he had Rob Gronkowski, but he missed games. Greg Olsen didn't. Here's a stat. Delaney Walker from the Titans caught 20 more passes than Rob Gronkowski and Greg Olsen. He didn't have Edelman the whole year. He didn't have Ben NFL the whole year. Aaron Rodgers is a good quarterback, but when he had to be put in the same situation that Tom Brady was put in, he didn't look too good. But if we're talking about Cam Newton, his situation, he had a healthy Greg Olsen all year. He had an amazing run game all year. He has arguably the best defense in the league back in a month. I'm not understanding where this Tom Brady disrespect is coming from.
See, here, caller, I got something for you. See, I'm not really trying to throw out disrespect to Tom Brady, but Tom Brady gets the ball out quick. When you put a defense on who can't give him the ball out quick, Tom Brady breaks down. Tom Brady isn't as great as we thought he was when pressure is on him. He's not as great when we thought he was when pressure. We clearly saw what happened to him this week. When you get pressure on Tom, it's the same every time he goes to the Super Bowl too. Every time he plays, when pressure comes on him, Tom Brady is not the same Tom Brady we see when he gets the ball out with weaker defense. Yes, Tom Brady is good, but at the same time, when a strong defense that can get to the ball, Tom Brady is great. But this season, he has not been better than Cam Newton.
Oh, no. Wait. Let me address something real quick. Why Tom Brady has to get the ball out quick? If you had Khalid blocking Von Miller every week, you would get the ball out quick too.
And we're definitely going to see that this week. What Cam Newton in February, we're definitely going to see what can happen when Cam Newton gets the ball out and actually hold the ball and make plays with his feet. Something Tom Brady couldn't do. Tom Brady got sacked a lot more times than Cam Newton about to get sacked.
Well, because Tom Brady doesn't run the same 40 that Cam Newton does. And Tom Brady has ran, if you watch the playoff game, not against the Broncos, but the week before, he ran for that touchdown at the end. So he made something happen. He's getting better at that. He's no Cam Newton when it comes to running the ball. But I'm saying we can't really use the weapons argument in relation to Greg Olsen and Gronk because they put up basically the exact same number. I think Gronk had 100 more yards than Olsen, maybe, in the regular season. Olsen was there the entire year. Cam had the significantly better running game and defense. Brady had an offensive line made up of like 5 rookies.
Okay, and to your Brady point also, any quarterback that is getting hit consistently and doesn't have an offensive line is going to throw the ball quick. And
nobody was saying this offensive line stuff at the beginning of the season when Tom Brady was
no, but it's because he had a healthy line. He had a healthy line. No, Rashad. Yes, they were because Nate Solder went out and he got hurt. He was the Pro Bowl lineman.
But nobody was saying it's just Nate Solder on his line. No,
nobody
ever brought up this. Like,
yes, they have.
I don't see how bad this line is because he's getting sacked.
No, people talked about it all season. They said the weakness of the Patriots is their offensive line and their run game. Everybody has said that. And that's why I just said that he has receivers inside the numbers that are quick receivers that normally make yards after the catch, which is why they're great because Tom Brady can get the ball out fast so quick. He doesn't have anybody that he can. The only person, if you want to talk about one person outside the numbers that gets the ball, and Rob Gronkowski doesn't want to line up on the outside. He's an inside the numbers player, and that's the only guy that you can throw the ball to that goes up and gets the ball. That's the one dude Tom Brady has. And when you don't win, and he's not a mobile quarterback like Cam Newton. To your credit, you said he's not mobile like Cam Newton. But any quarterback that's getting laid out on the ground is gonna have a difficult game. Credit, say that to Andrew Luck. Credit that to Tony Romo. Anybody that's getting hit consistently. The reason why now the Dallas Cowboys were made the playoffs that season is because they got a line that could protect Tony and that could run the ball. Tom Brady lost his running back in week 3 of the season. Deion Lewis was gone.
But Deion Lewis is out the backfield.
No, but Deion Lewis did both things. He ran the ball and he was a danger out of the backfield. No, after he left, it still took pressure off Tom. And then after he left, Julian Edelman got hurt with his foot. He was out for multiple weeks. Then Danny Amendola got hurt. Then it was just Rob Gronkowski. Then Rob Gronkowski got hurt in the end of that Denver game. So, and that's where that first loss came. So you look at all the things Tom Brady's, and he's had 39 different offensive line combinations. 39. Cam Newton's had a running game. He's had Jonathan Stewart. He's had the same O-line. He's had the same receivers since the beginning of the season. He hasn't lost any of his receivers. Tom Brady's had to deal with everything being adjusted on the fly. So, okay.
I agree with that, and I want to add on to that point really quickly. As bad as we say the Panthers' supporting cast is, Ted Ginn has stepped up. You know, starting the season, everyone's talking about Ted Ginn can't catch a cold in the Arctic wearing ice boxers, but this man is out there doing what he can to get his team wins. I know you guys have been watching these games. Ted Ginn has been breaking games open. This Devin Funchess kid from Michigan, he's been catching some balls, getting themselves open. Greg Olsen's always open. They're getting Tolbert and Jonathan Stewart involved because they have a great running game. I watched the game where the Patriots took some guy out the street on Wednesday, had him in uniform on Sunday, and Tom Brady made him look like a 10-year vet. That's the mark of a great quarterback. This man, Tom Brady, can pick me up today, and I can catch a touchdown.
Hey, all right, call it in for you two in here in the studio with us. I have a question.
You have to ask a quick.
It's gonna be a quick question. I have a quick question. Are we discrediting Cam Newton's greatness because he had a run game? Like his stats aren't as well passing because he doesn't throw the ball as much? Is that what we're doing?
I'm not going to say I'm discrediting him because he has a running game, but a running game and a great defense do help. With a running game and a great defense, Mark Sanchez got to the AFC Championship twice, so anything is possible.
And I'll say to that point, I'm not discrediting Cam Newton on that, but because that's the same thing you can say about Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
But then this is the first season we've seen Russell Wilson play without beast mode, and then they moved the offense to be on Russell Wilson's back, and he played better without beast mode. So you can't help but acknowledge the fact that he does have a run game. He has a defense that's going to get him short yardage, so he's going to get a lot more rushing touchdowns with a short field because he's running the ball in half the time for these touchdowns. But Caller, we appreciate you calling in, man. Thank you for supporting the show, and hopefully we can have you on the show sometime soon. The next time you watch the show, you call in to join on the debate with us, and we have fun talking to you.
Of course, y'all have a good day. Panthers gonna win the Super Bowl big. Peyton Manning sucks.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, man. Every time we debate about the best quarterbacks, man, it's always best quarterback, best NBA player, man. It's always
it's so funny. I want to bring up a little point. This whole conversation, we ain't never say anything about Peyton Manning, even though he in the Super Bowl.
No.
Yeah,
no. Peyton Manning.
Ever says Peyton Manning was best this season?
Nope.
I'm not speaking to him anymore. He doesn't know sports. He doesn't know anything.
It's not even okay. Going on.
Man's in the Super Bowl.
Going on. We gotta talk about the man from Latvia, Kristaps Porzingis. He's got the NBA world by storm. You think it's Linsanity again, pretty much, because the way, right? Remember how crazy Linsanity was, but Kristaps Porzingis, I mean, the man that went from draft day making a little kid cry because he got picked up to now taking Instagram pictures with that same little kid talking about this. He's the future of the Knicks, and so now you look at it and you look at how he's ascended in NBA. And Kristaps, I mean, he's averaging 14 points. I feel like I'm about to sneeze. 14. Thank you. 14 points, about 7-8 rebounds. He's averaging about 2.5 blocks per game. And you see the Knicks have won about 22 games, and they won 17 all last season. And so you look at and it's not just Kristaps that's affected that. I mean, you pick up Aaron. Yeah, Carmelo's healthy. Mm-hmm. You pick up Aaron Aflalo. You get Robin Lopez. You trade away Tim Hardaway Jr. You get Jerian Grant to your team. There's a lot of different. This whole Knicks team has been a makeover. It's been a makeover from last season. But you look at the impact Kristaps Porzingis has had, and to like I alluded to earlier, Kevin Durant, when talking about Kristaps, he was talking about you never see a 7'3" guy like this. That it's a unique commodity in the league that you see a 7'3" guy similar to Dirk that can put the ball on the ground, that can shoot the three ball, that's athletic enough to move his feet on defense, that can protect the rim. And you look at those things, and Kevin Durant essentially called him a unicorn. And even though that's I don't know if that's a nickname that you really want to be called, I don't know. On Mike and Mike this morning earlier, Kristaps called in and he was talking about how he doesn't know if that's a nickname he would exactly want to stick because it doesn't have any edge to it. Like, here comes the Latvian unicorn. Like, and it's not really an edgy nickname, but in totality, he was thankful because that it is a rare thing. You see a 7'3" guy that can put the ball on the ground, is laterally quick enough. Like, there were times yesterday in the game against the Thunder where they lost, but Kristaps played great. And you saw there were times yesterday in the game where he would get switched on to Kevin Durant. He would pluck Kevin Durant sometimes, or on a pick and roll, he had quick enough hands to dislodge the ball from Kevin Durant or Russell Westbrook. And he's fast enough to be able to contest a shot from the perimeter as a big. And then he's also so defensively sound that there was this one point in the drive where Russell Westbrook just took the ball right at Kristaps, and Kristaps blocked him and essentially took the ball away from him. Like, he didn't send it away, he blocked it and kept it. Like, he said, give it here. And so you look at how good he's played, and you just wonder how good can Kristaps be, because a lot of people, he even said on Mike and Mike this morning how he's looked up to players like Dirk Nowitzki, Pau Gasol, Marc Gasol, Larry Bird, and he watched LaMarcus Aldridge, and he's looked up to players like that, and Kevin Garnett. that he watched when he was in Latvia, that his brother would show him clips of these guys, highlight tapes. So how good do y'all think Kristaps can really be? Khalid, let's start off with you. How good do you think the Latvian, whatever you want to call him, can be?
The Latvian, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah, essentially.
I think he can be a whole lot better. The Knicks team, they have a good play. They have great players. They have Melo, like you said, Robin Lopez, and he definitely learns a whole lot from them. But I think put in a situation where he can actually learn from a player that's just like him, somebody like you, like Kevin Durant was saying, Dirk Nowitzki.
Mhm.
I feel like his game would elevate so much more because he's seeing exactly what he knows he can do, and then he could be able to not take it like kind of adapt to it and tweak it a bit to make it his own style and arguably make it better than Dirk Nowitzki's style. So I do think he can become a whole lot better in a different setting. But his space right now is good for him because he's definitely been one of the focuses in the Knicks team, and he's playing great. Even though they lost, he's still playing great.
All right, Rashad, what do you think?
See, the difference between him and Jeremy Lin was Jeremy Lin had that era of greatness for a week. Kristaps Porzingis is going on for months now.
Yep.
So that's what separates him. He's, like you said, you can't take away gift. 7'3", nice build, quickness. You can't take that away from somebody. As his shot gets better, as his adjustment to the NBA game gets better, we might be talking about him being a franchise player somewhere one day. Because as we saw, like, nobody thought Dirk was going to be that guy at first when he came in. And then you saw how he developed to the NBA game, got accustomed to it, how great he became a franchise player. Kristaps Porzingis can go the same way. Right now, 14 points. We got to think about it. It'll probably be a lot higher if he started the season off playing more like minutes he plays now, and probably being as aggressive as he is now. His average probably be a little higher. But you can't take away from what he's doing right now. He will become a great player. He will be an all-star, a future all-star, and he may become a franchise player one day.
Yeah, I definitely think Kristaps' ceiling is very high. I mean, the man shoots 33% from the three-point line right now, and he shoots 85% from the free throw line. So essentially, you're hacking him too. You know, he's so big that a lot of times he's going to get fouled around the basket. That 85% of the time he's knocking down the free throws. He shoots 42% from the field. You look at those things, and you look at how you see how the team supports him so much. And Melo has really got drawn to this kid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he, for somebody that everybody just counted out the minute undrafted he got drafted, Melo's really become, close to Kristaps because he says that Kristaps has a lot of potential. He sees he's a hard worker. That's one thing that everybody always says about Kristaps Porzingis is that he works hard. He wants to be great in the game. He looks up to Dirk Nowitzki especially a lot since they're both foreign players in this league. And Dirk's made a name for himself in this league. Will go down as a Hall of Famer in the NBA. But Kristaps hopes to be just as great as Dirk, if not better. So but there's one thing that Kristaps even has his advantage that Dirk Nowitzki has never had. While Dirk can put the ball on the floor, can shoot the three ball, can post up anybody, the one thing Dirk never did was play great defense like Kristaps does right now. I mean, Kristaps, there's times where I saw him get switched on to Kevin Durant yesterday. And granted, Kevin Durant did cross him up at one point and then blow by him for a dunk. There were times that you saw Kevin Durant readjusted his game plan on how he came at Kristaps because he's like, this guy can actually move with me, and he actually has the hands to pluck me. And that's things that with Dirk Nowitzki you never really saw. And Dirk Nowitzki was never, while Dirk Nowitzki, he would block, he would get his blocks some from here and there. Everybody's always known that Dirk Nowitzki wasn't a rim protector. But Kristaps Porzingis, you have to adjust because he's so long. You know what I mean? He's so long, he's so big. You have to adjust yourself when you're going at the rim around him, because essentially any one of your shot attempts can get blocked or will get engulfed by this guy. Like, he's that good. And you see the faith that the New York Knicks fans have in him. Like, they're the magic to Madison Square Garden. While the Knicks right now currently aren't in the playoffs, the fact that they're 22-25 and that they already have 5 more wins than they did last season, you see that Madison Square Garden is becoming lively again around this guy. You know what I mean? It's not just Melo. It's Kristaps, it's Melo, it's they have a young piece that they can feel confident in, that they can be like, oh, this guy. I mean, this man has rookie of the year potential right now, along with Karl Anthony Towns, Jahlil Okafor, D'Angelo Russell, all those other guys. This guy has rookie of the year, candidacy. So he's trying to become the most recent New York Knick to be rookie of the year since Mark Jackson in 1988. That's been that long since the Knicks have had a rookie of the year. And before him, it was Patrick Ewing. And I think 1983 and 1985, I believe. I think it was 83, maybe 85, 83, one or two. But yeah, he's trying to become the first Knicks rookie since then to win rookie of the year. But going on to the last topic, I feel like it's when everybody essentially disagrees on something, and then you're like, there's always that one person that's like, nope, don't see it. Don't see it. There's most cases that's Rashad. There's most cases, and that there's a couple of people that feel this way about Ben Simmons, and if he is actually the best player in college basketball and should be the #1 overall pick. Ben Simmons, up to this point in the season, he's averaged about 19.6 points a game. I think he's averaged 11.7 rebounds, and he's averaged 5 assists. And right now, LSU, the record isn't reflecting it. They're currently unranked, so that's one slight that a lot of people have thrown towards Ben Simmons' way. But do you guys think that he really is the best player in college basketball, and is it deservedly so? Rashad, let me hear your take, because I feel like you have a different answer than the rest of the nation.
I don't. He hasn't. His stats are good. But when I see him play, it doesn't reflect what his stats are. He's not that player. I don't even think if you put him in the NBA, he's a slight role player right now. He's not even like your franchise player, what you're looking for in the draft right now. So that's why he's not like as much as weak as that team is and how great he is, he's not even leading the country in player efficiency rating. He's not leading the nation in scoring. He's not leading in rebound. He's not leading in assists. He's not leading in anything. He's a great player to fit in, but he's not. I can't pick him a #1 pick, at least not right now. He has to show me something through the month of February and through the month of March, and get that team to the tournament and make a nice little run, and show me he can be an NBA, like a mimic of LeBron, as what everybody says he is. Then we could talk. But right now, no. There's players better than him right now.
So wait. So for you, who's the best player in college basketball?
Who's the best player right now? I honestly think Buddy Hield's the best player right now. Mm-hmm. He's not even actually leading. He's not leading the player efficient right now. It's a guard. It's looking like a guard heavy draft, lottery pick wise, because there's so many great guards. You have Buddy Hield, you have Chris Dunn, you have Marcus Page, you have Melo Trimble, you have Tyler Ulis. You have a bunch of great guards right now. And when you think of big man, you only think of Jacob Poeltl. You only think of Bryce Johnson mainly. That's mainly the big two. And the
his name is like Utah something. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but yeah, go on.
But you see, that's like the only 3 big man that you like that comes to your mind right now. Mm-hmm. Like Bryce Johnson's actually leading the country in player efficiency rating.
He is.
He's actually stepped up lately in the past 3-4 games to help him boost that spot. I mean, that game he dropped was it 39 and 15 or 39 and 19, something like that. Mm-hmm. Some insane number. Put him in player of the year candidate. And that's insane for a person. There's like, this is Marcus Page's team, to jump over there. It's like, nah, this is my team. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, players like that. I still think Buddy Hield, because Buddy Hield, I think he's the most NBA ready player right now. Him or Chris Dunn, but I give it to Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield can be that player that can become something close to what Steph is. Not as efficient, not as spectacular, but the way he plays right now, his shooting in college is great. He just pull up anytime, anything like that.
All right, Khaled, who do you think the best in college basketball is?
This is a very shaky subject, because Ben Simmons. The thing about Ben Simmons, he may not be leading a team, like leading in player efficiency or scoring, but I think he tries to make the people around him, like his team, better. He do get plenty of rebounds. He can also assist, and he gets a fair amount of points. So the only, one of the shortcomings they have for him is that, like Rashad was saying, he doesn't lead in like player efficiency, and he could be scoring more. And then his team right now isn't projected to be in the tournament, and they're not in the top 25. So I think that I feel like right now it's kind of hard to say who's the best, because all the teams haven't been decided really for the tournament, and there's still a little bit of ways to go. And he's trying to pull up his team right now because they're in a big deficit. And other teams just looking great. Like with this is the top team right now, Oklahoma with 16-2. They're playing amazingly well. It's because, and it's just, I think that he can make he's making the team better, and he's definitely doing what he should be. Like Rashad was saying, he could be a role player in the NBA right now, but in college basketball, he's doing exactly what he has to do.
All right. See how I see it, because I mean, for most of the players that everybody is pretty much rumoring about, for Ben Simmons averages 19.6 points a game, 12.6 rebounds, 5.1 assists. He's shooting 55% from the field. Excuse me. He's 6'10", 225. Chris Dunn, 6'4", 220, averages 17 points, 6.2 rebounds a game, 7.1 assists. Yesterday's game, actually, he played a great game. Actually, he had 17 points, actually, 7 assists, 8 rebounds, and I believe 7 steals. And he shoots 39% from three, 49% from 2-point shots, and he has a field goal percentage of 46%. Buddy Hield, the scoring phenom, averages 25.7 points, 5.8 rebounds, 2.5 assists. He's 6'4", 214 in weight, and he shoots from the 3-point line. He shoots 51%, and from 2-point percentage is 52%. His overall field goal percentage is 52.1 or 52%. His free throw percentage is 90%. And then Denzel Valentine, another player that recently was hurt, but a lot of people say he's a walking triple double essentially. He's 6'5", 220. He averages 18.4 points a game, 7 rebounds, almost 8, 7.9, and he averaged 6.6 assists. Shoots 30%, 40% from three, 50% from 2-point range, and 45% field goal percentage, and he has a free throw percentage of 82%. So for me, what it comes down to is, yeah, I understand y'all saying that Ben Simmons' team isn't ranked and everything, but if I was to make a player right now and have them because what Buddy Hield is doing, yes, Buddy Hield is scoring phenomenally, and he has Oklahoma sitting as the number 1 ranked team right now. But for me, I understand why people say Ben Simmons is the best, because Ben Simmons is a 6'10" dude that is a walking mismatch. You know what I mean? Like, Ben Simmons walks on the court, you can compare him to LeBron. I don't think he's as comparable. I think if anybody you're going to compare him to is Magic Johnson over Draymond Green kind of guy. But no, I wouldn't compare him to LeBron because he's not as athletic as LeBron James. But the fact that he's a 6'10", 225 dude, I mean, that man's a power forward essentially that can do guard things. And he creates a mismatch already. So any team he goes to, he already will have an impact. Now, he has to improve on his shooting because his three-point, he's only taking 3 threes on the season. And he shoots 33% because he's made 1 out of 3. But for me, he's a walking, he can rebound. He's shown that he can score. And I believe, to Khaled's point also, that at times he doesn't want to. He can show a lack of aggression, but I feel like that's at the behest of his team, because he wants his teammates to be better. He doesn't want to just dominate the ball and force the issue, whereas he wants his teammates to improve alongside with him. And in some characteristics, that is in comparison to a LeBron James, who would do that sometimes in Cleveland, who doesn't, even though LeBron has averaged over 20 every year of his career in the NBA. Ben Simmons is the one guy that you're looking at all these college players that can do everything. While you look at Buddy Hield is an exceptional scorer, as not as good a playmaker as Ben Simmons. Buddy Hield is a great shooter, but he's not as good as a rebounder as Ben Simmons. He's a 6'4" guard. And you look at what he's doing. Yet you might get a Stephen Curry kind of player, but he's not. He doesn't have the playmaking ability that Steph Curry has showed at Davidson. And then you look at Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn is an exceptional playmaker, and he's a very athletic guard. But the problem is Chris Dunn doesn't create a mismatch on the court like Ben Simmons does, automatically coming onto an NBA team. And there's going to be things that Chris Dunn and Buddy Hield, being either shooting guards or point guards, Chris Dunn more so of a point guard than Buddy Hield, will go through the rookie growing pains that they'll experience. And there's many people that look at Chris Dunn saying that he has the athleticism to compete with any guard in the league on the NBA level. But the problem is his IQ sometimes can be a little drifty. Whereas Ben Simmons, you see that Ben Simmons, the only question about Ben Simmons has always been his shooting ability and his aggressiveness. But I feel like his aggressiveness atones to some of the fact that he doesn't want to be he doesn't want to take the ball fully away from his LSU compatriots. So, and then when you look at Denzel Valentine's the next guy that, I mean, does it all essentially. But the only problem is Denzel isn't as efficient a scorer as Ben Simmons.
Can I make a point between both of those players real quick?
Denzel and Ben?
Yeah.
Okay.
See, you say he's a walking mismatch. Ben Simmons is a walking mismatch.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't utilize that mismatch. I've seen him have guards who's 4 inches shorter than him, put him in the post, asking for the ball, and like they look at him like, nah, I can't give this to you because we can't guarantee you do something in the post. I've seen that multiple possessions.
We see that all the times with even NBA players.
But I mean, I see it all the time. Like I see,
that's not
like he doesn't even try
fault.
to back him down. He just puts his arm next to the ball like this, like.
But that's not Ben Simmons' fault. They don't give him the ball. I mean, if you're that's one of the
it's because he's not sitting in good position to get the ball.
But that's one of the things. You can make that case for any NBA player that never. We can make that position for when Kobe didn't give the ball to Shaq. We can make that.
But Shaq wasn't always 4 inches taller than most people you guard.
I mean, when you run a pick and roll, Kobe, you can argue the fact that, I mean, Shaq was a mismatch of any center.
Yeah,
it didn't
right.
matter.
Yeah.
Shaq was a mismatch of any center, and then Kobe wasn't giving him the ball at times. So you can make that case for Shaq. You make that case with Dwight Howard, with James Harden. You make that case for Kevin Love in Cleveland. So it's not all Ben Simmons' fault. Somebody has to give you the ball sometimes. And we've seen when he brings the ball up court, he will post up people. He will drive into the lane. He even said in the most recent game they played, people were sagging off on him because they didn't trust his shooting ability. So he was pulling up from mid-range. Yeah, and he was making the mid-range jumper.
Yeah. Okay, and then I completely agree with what you're saying. Mm-hmm. So we can throw that out right now. But also with Denzel Valentine, the reason he's not as efficient scorer is because he shoots the three ball as well. Mm-hmm. And we know he's not as sharp as a sharpshooter as Buddy Hield or something like that is. So yeah, he'll be an inefficient scorer, but he still does it all for that team. He's more important to that. I think he's more important to that team than Ben Simmons is to LSU because that team goes how Valentine goes.
I don't know
because
about
you
that.
saw that's
because even when
Denzel
when Denzel Valentine was hurt, they did drop. But I mean, some players
they lost games they shouldn't have lost.
They also won games still without Denzel Valentine.
We've seen LSU win games when
Ben Simmons
only have like 12 points.
But that's because Ben Simmons, just because you're on the court, there are games that the Warriors can win, but just the fact that Steph Curry's on the court is going to draw attention. The fact that Ben Simmons and them, they beat, was it Kentucky or Kansas? I think it was Kentucky. When they played Kentucky, you saw Ben Simmons, he did have, like you said, he had 12 points. He didn't miss a field goal attempt, but just you being on the court is going to draw attention. The fact that when you post up, you might draw a double team. There's things that Ben Simmons does. Like he is a mismatch, so it makes everything easier for his teammates to excel. And that's what he wants. He wants his teammates to excel. And Ben Simmons is the youngest of all these guys. He's the youngest player of all these guys, yet he's the one that seems as though he can do, if he came in the NBA game today and played on a team, and he'd be the one that can make the most impact, because you'd be hard pressed to find somebody that can. You'd be hard pressed to find a power forward that can guard him out on the perimeter. That's not named Draymond Green. That's not named Serge Ibaka.
He's too small to be a power forward. He has the height. That's it.
He weighs
a small forward shooting guard.
No, I mean that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying he's power forward height.
When he came into college, everybody was talking about Ben Simmons as a point guard in the NBA. Even though he's 6'10",
because of his playmaking, that's what people said about Magic. Magic has a power forward, small forward height. And that's why I said he creates mismatches. If you put a small forward on him, he can post that person up. He can play in the post. That's why if you put a power forward on him, he can blow by that guy. That's why Ben Simmons is such a conundrum, because his 6'10" frame and he weighs 225. No, he's not a small guy. He's not like Brandon Ingram. He's not like Brandon Ingram, who's like 6'9" and weighs like I don't know how much. He weighs like 200. Brandon Ingram is like a chopstick. You see him, the player that plays for Duke, and he's also one of the top rated players in the country. And you look at a player like him, he's small. Ben Simmons has some size on him. I mean, he might not be the size of a Draymond Green, but look at the exception we're using to categorize him. I mean, most of the NBA players that you'll see that will go against Ben Simmons would be a mismatch, and Ben Simmons can create off of those mismatches, and it shows because we use it as a slight his unaggressiveness, but at the same time that can be a skill of his because he's so unselfish. It makes other players want to play with him. That's what makes Ben Simmons so great. Yeah, because they know he'll make them. That's why everybody wants to play with LeBron James, because they know he will get you the ball. He's an unselfish player, and that's the same thing with Ben Simmons. But guys, that's gonna have to wrap it up for today. It's KBR Sports, the best sports talk show of your 24-hour day. On WODU Studios, the best in college radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at KBR Sports, where you can see past shows and past segments, and also subscribe to the WODU Live page, where you can see our past shows on there and other WODU shows also. And subscribe to our follow our Twitter page, where you can tweet at us and tweet your ideas to our show topics, and you can keep up to date with everything that's KBR Sports. It's KBR_sports. And for anybody that ever wants to call in and join in on the debate, like we had 2 callers do so today, number 757-683-4405. We're never, opposed to anybody calling in and joining in on the debate. Anybody can call in and put your 2 cents in.
Also, you can't catch us on channel 70.1 because we will be showing us on TV live.
Yeah. Also, thank you. Yeah, thank you for saying that, Khalid. All right, y'all. Everybody keep it easy.